This PGA Championship week already has a completely different vibe, and I honestly didn't expect the tension to build this early. As a golf fan, you can sense when something isn't quite right even before the tournament starts. Right now, two major stories are unfolding that could completely shift the narrative heading into this major week. One of them involves a situation that looked genuinely painful just to watch, and the other feels even more worrying when you consider its potential impact over 4 full rounds in a major championship. The craziest part is that all of this is happening right before one of the biggest weeks of the entire PGA Tour season. If you're a true PGA Tour fan who follows this game week in and week out, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to PGA Tour today. We're pushing toward 11,000 subscribers, and this channel is built for people who genuinely live and breathe golf just like we do. The first big story revolves around Rory McIlroy. The situation suddenly feels far more serious than people initially thought. It all started during last week's Tour Championship when Rory revealed he had developed a painful blister underneath the nail of his right pinky toe. At first, he tried to downplay it, telling reporters that the blister started bothering him on Friday. He said it was sore but expected to be fine for the PGA Championship. But things clearly escalated very quickly. By the time Rory arrived at Aronimink Golf Club in Pennsylvania for practice rounds, the pain had become such a major issue that he performed what sounded like an at-home surgery on himself. Hearing him describe it was brutal. Rory explained to reporters that he soaked his foot in the bath and shower to soften the toenail before ripping the nail completely off because the pain underneath was unbearable. He even showed journalists the aftermath after his press conference, which shows just how uncomfortable the situation had become. What's really concerning is that Rory genuinely believed removing the nail would fix the problem. He actually said it felt better Tuesday morning. But once he stepped onto the course, reality hit hard. He only managed to complete 3 holes of his Tuesday practice round before shutting it down completely. People on the course saw him sitting on the fairway with his shoe and sock removed, checking his foot, and eventually leaving in a golf cart because the irritation remained too severe. For casual fans, a blister or toenail issue might sound minor. But if you actually play competitive golf, you know this can turn into a nightmare over 4 straight days of walking major championship conditions. We're talking about miles and miles of walking, uneven lies, pressure swings, torque through the feet, and constant weight transfer. Every single shot starts from the ground up. If your footing is compromised even slightly, it affects everything. That's exactly why this has become such a big deal for the PGA Championship. Rory McIlroy enters this week as the reigning Masters champion, one of the hottest players on the planet, and the #2 favorite behind Scottie Scheffler to win the Wanamaker Trophy. Now there's a legitimate physical concern hanging over his entire week. What stood out was the reaction from his team. Reports indicated that members of Rory's support staff were bringing multiple boxes of shoes into the player services area, trying to find adjustments that could help him manage the pain. Rory even admitted he had already moved up an entire shoe size to accommodate the swelling and discomfort. Golf Channel's Kira K. Dixon noted that the toe felt okay early in the morning, but once he started walking the course it became aggravated again. This also creates a huge mental question mark. Rory has been carrying incredible momentum lately. He finally won the Masters victory everyone had been waiting years to see. His confidence has looked different this season, his body language lighter and his game more complete. Now fans are wondering if this toe issue will become a distraction during the most important week of the month. The timing couldn't be worse because the PGA Championship field is stacked. Scottie Scheffler comes in as the world #1 and defending PGA champion. Jordan Spieth is chasing the career Grand Slam storyline. Cameron Young continues searching for that long-predicted major breakthrough. Instead of focusing purely on Rory's golf, the conversation has shifted to his foot. The second part of this story makes it even more fascinating. The injury itself may sound minor on paper, but the distraction level during a major championship is very real. Every walk between shots, every uneven bunker stance, every downhill lie, Rory is going to feel it. Over 72 holes, small physical problems can turn into massive issues, especially at a major. The good news is that there's still another practice day available before the tournament officially begins, giving him time to find the right adjustments. New shoes, different support, pain management, his team is trying everything. But if we're honest as golf fans, this definitely changes the atmosphere heading into the week. When Rory McIlroy is healthy and confident, he looks capable of winning any tournament in the world. But when even a small physical issue affecting balance and movement enters the picture, it becomes impossible to ignore. The entire PGA Tour world is now watching to see whether this turns out to be just a strange early week story or something that actually impacts the championship. The deeper details emerging about Rory McIlroy's condition are making fans even more nervous. This wasn't just a quick precautionary exit from practice. According to multiple reports from Aronimink Golf Club, Rory was visibly uncomfortable almost immediately. People watching him said he was limping at times, constantly adjusting his right shoe, and repeatedly stopping to check the toe before deciding he couldn't continue. When you combine this with what we saw during the final round of the Tour Championship, where Rory was already moving awkwardly at moments, it feels like an issue that has been building for several days rather than a random one-day problem. That's why this story exploded so quickly, because everyone knows what Rory McIlroy represents right now. This isn't just another player dealing with soreness before a major. This is the reigning Masters champion, one of the faces of professional golf, a player trying to add another major to a legacy that already includes 6 major titles and one of the greatest careers of his generation. The emotional side of this is what makes it tough for golf fans. Rory finally feels like he has real momentum again in the majors. After years of pressure, criticism, close calls, and endless debate about whether he would dominate once more, this season started to feel different. Winning the Masters changed the conversation around him. You could see the confidence return, the freedom in his game, and his swing looking loose again. The pressure looked lighter, and fans began believing this could be another historic Rory season. Then suddenly, a toe injury becomes the biggest topic entering the PGA Championship. That's why fans are reacting strongly online. Not because they think a blister ends his chances automatically, but because major championships are already mentally exhausting without adding physical distractions on top. Golf at this level is about tiny margins. One uncomfortable tee shot, one awkward downhill lie, or one moment where balance feels slightly off can be the difference between winning a major and finishing outside the top 10, especially against players like Scottie Scheffler, who remains unbelievably consistent under pressure. Scheffler's presence makes this even more compelling. While Rory battles a physical issue, Scottie enters as the defending PGA champion and world #1 with incredibly steady form. Suddenly, the biggest expected challenger has a major question mark around his health. That changes the energy of the entire tournament. At the same time, it opens up conversations around players like Jordan Spieth, who is still chasing the career Grand Slam, and Cameron Young, who keeps hovering near that potential breakthrough moment. This is what makes PGA Championship Week so special. One storyline can completely reshape the feel of the tournament before the first round even begins. What makes it even more intense is that Rory himself seemed genuinely frustrated. He clearly thought ripping the toenail off would completely solve the issue. He sounded relieved earlier in the day, only to be riding away in a cart a few holes later after removing his shoe in the middle of the fairway. That's not the image golf fans expected to see this week. Still, if there's one thing we know about Rory McIlroy, it's that counting him out is always risky. He is one of the toughest competitors in the game. He has played through pressure that would break most players, and sometimes major championship weeks become legendary precisely because players overcome unexpected adversity. Now all eyes turn to the next practice session. Can Rory and his team find the right shoe setup? Can they reduce the irritation enough to handle 4 competitive rounds? Can he walk comfortably by Thursday morning? Because if the answer is yes, he absolutely still has the game to win this championship. But if the pain continues to affect his movement, balance, or focus even slightly, this PGA Championship becomes an entirely different battle. And that is exactly what makes this one of the biggest stories on the PGA Tour right now. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and drop your thoughts in the comments because I genuinely want to know. Do you think Rory McIlroy can still win this PGA Championship while dealing with this toe issue? Or is this becoming a bigger problem than people realize? And if you're a real golf fan who loves honest PGA Tour conversations every single week, subscribe to PGA Tour today. The channel is still growing, we're chasing that first 11,000 subscribers, and we're building a community for people who truly love this game.